Gastonia, where our theme this year is. And we are lit up today because Gaston is back.
From where I am here today and where I came from 18 months ago on that fateful Saturday afternoon, College Island, South Carolina, 20 minutes after high noon on the 5th of October 2013, a day I'll never forget. Laying flat on my back unconscious with a 900-pound Harley-Davidson motorcycle strapped to me. And after the fire department cut it off of me, and I got me a helicopter ride back up to Myrtle Beach Grand Strand, 4 days in a coma, 21 days in the hospital there. And then my journey started, and over a 12-month period, 6 major surgeries, in 4 different hospitals in 2 different states, and over $2 million in medical bills is what has brought me back here today. But the main thing, and I want to thank each and every one of you in this room today, is the prayers that I received from all of you and people all over this country. Every prayer, every card, every visit, every call, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and that's what has brought me back here today.
And we're sorry Judy Lee's not here with you today, but I know that she was a huge part of your recovery as well. So please take her sash and tiara as that is her merit badge for what all she's done. Well, we have missed you, and we are happy that you are back. Please pass the cart buckets for Alzheimer's research. Turn off your noisemakers. James Smith will lead us in our song and pledge today.
Let's all stand. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope everybody's well. This wonderful weather we're having. To celebrate Harry's return today, let's sing that old Irish drinking song, For He's a Jolly Good Fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny, which nobody can deny, which nobody can deny. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. Very good. Let's turn and greet all those jolly good fellows around the room. All right.
Hey Judge, how you doing? I see you.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, James. Alice Reagan has our invocation.
Let us go to the Lord in prayer. all your many blessings. We're thankful for this day, its blessings, its opportunities and challenges. As we gather as fellow Rotarians, we ask that you lead and guide and direct the actions of our club and the actions of us as individuals. We give you thanks for the opportunities we have to serve. Please be with all those who are carrying heavy burdens, who are sick or in fragile places. And we're so thankful that Harry's back today, and we're thankful for your healing power that's been upon him. We pray for our continued optimism and renewal of our commitment to serve you. May we be challenged to give our best, knowing that we can be assured of your presence with us. Dear Lord, we ask that you bless this food for the nourishment of our bodies and us to thy service. In your holy name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Richard Abernathy, Health and Happiness.
Good afternoon. I do want us to start, we've already done this, but I want to specifically welcome Harry back. I talked to him before. Harry, and I think everybody in the room feels this way, I know, I would have given up long before you did. I would have quit. There's no way I would have had the perseverance that you had. And you're my new hero, and I just want to tell you that I really applaud everything that you did. I can't tell you how much I think we're all inspired by what you did. So God be with you. We're so glad to have you back. I know of one specific health concern, Jim Westmoreland is going to have 2 procedures next week. He's got some fractured vertebrae, and he's having the adhesive injection surgery done, I believe, was it Monday and Thursday, is that right, Gabe? And is that here in Charlotte? Here. So if you'll keep Jim and Barbara in your thoughts and prayers, he's been in an awful lot of pain. They weren't sure what the back pain was caused from, and the MRI results revealed that. So we'll keep Jim in our thoughts and prayers. Do we have any other health concerns that we know of? And I don't believe we have any visiting Rotarians. I know we have some guests of Rotarians. Who's brought a guest today? Jesse?
Honored and privileged to have my oldest son with me, Jesse B. Caldwell IV, who's the public defender here in Gastonia, and he's our guest today. Jesse.
Jim?
I'd like to introduce my brother-in-law, Denham Clements from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Denham is coming through Gastonia on his way from Washington. Denham served in the United States Marines in Vietnam. He was a captain there. And he's coming from the National Museum of the Marine Corps in Quantico, Virginia. They're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the landing in Grenada. Denham is an artist, and he was there exhibiting his painting, which you see on the screen, Vietnam Elegy. This is a narrative of the moods and realities of Vietnam War. This painting has received honors and top honors at the National Veterans Creative Festival recently. Denham is still doing an exhaustive search to find a home for this painting. Also, I'm going to leave some cards here. All on the card is just his Vietnam elegy, so if you want to see something really interesting and a good video, pick up the card, pop on it, and you'll see this painting right here.
Thank you. I can ask, are there going to be at some point perhaps lithographs of that available for people that might want to have something like that framed and hung? I've got 2 brothers-in-law that are both Vietnam vets that I know would love to have something like that. Is that a possibility in the future?
I think if you go on that slide, there's a link there, correct?
All right. Okay, thank you.
Anything that he has is for sale.
Including his brother-in-law's All right, another guest, David.
I'm glad that my daughter Maggie can be with me. She's on spring break. I am embodying the Old Testament prophets of loving the sinner and hating the sin. She goes to UNC.
Hey! Hello!
I reminded David that Maggie got her brains, personality, and good looks, not from her daddy, but from her mother. Any other guests with us today? Yes, this is, okay.
This is Danielle Lowry. She is from the McElveen Family Law Firm. They're headquartered here in Gastonia, and they also have an office in Charlotte.
Yep, I've got William Wren. William is a recent graduate of USC. Some of you Gamecock fans. One Gamecock fan.
One very obnoxious
touch behind me. And William is doing a little internship with us to get some administrative experience at the YMCA, but he is looking for a job. So I brought him here today. So he's also the grandson of our friend Jick Garland. So you may know him that way.
Is that Cherryville or Cherville? Cherville, okay.
He's also a board member of the Gaston Regional Chamber.
Glad to have you with us. Any others? Any other guests? All right, I'm going to ask for happy dollars, but I want us to save. I'm going to do one happy dollar first, and we've already talked about this a little bit, and I'm going to skip any other formalities because I think this is something that deserves our time. I'm starting, y'all do what you want to do. I'm putting 20 happy dollars in for Harry Britt being back today. I urge all of you to do the same, or as much as you can bring. If you have happy dollars for Harry being back, if you want to do it now, that's great, or you can do it afterwards. If you want to come on now, we can see a herd of support. I think you would be happy to see that. I think we all feel the same way about Harry being back with us. Harry, you're going to fund the scholarship all by yourself. So if you had a happy dollar, you can just stand up and say what it was and say, I've already got it. Are there any other happy dollars? Yes, sir.
I have two happy dollars. One is my son Eli, who's a fifth grader at Gaston Day. Has some artwork on display at the museum this month for youth art. And my daughter has had her first track meet Wednesday, and she's third in the 400-meter hurdles.
And I'm going to shift gears. I'm remiss. I forgot to mention Jeff Pruitt's mother passed away. Is Jeff here today?
Yes, he is.
Certainly we want to keep his family in our thoughts and prayers. I know that was a terrible event for them, and we want to keep them on our thoughts and prayers. Other happy dollars. Come on up.
We're coming together. We're coming together soon. Today is the 103rd birthday of Girl Scouts of the USA. Any of you are Girl Scouts? I think you are.
Buy some cookies, get a diabetes test, whatever you do. Any other happy dollars? All right, we got a few Rotarians in the news, and I'm going to sit down. Let's see who we got on this one, if I can find it here in the back. I think I found somebody here. I love to look in the newspaper for people and try to punish them. I think that was one where I thought there was money. There's not. I'm going to ask, let's see, the good old Hartball. Is Steve Huffstetler here today? Steve? These people are all being indicted, actually, and they took their pictures while they were getting ready to go to court. And I know that Brent Messer is listed here. Is Brent here? I thought I saw him. Brent, if you'll come up and you've been punished enough, but pay some more. Why not? Congratulations on being at the Hartball. Were there any other members at the Hartball that weren't lucky enough to have their photographs taken? If so, come up and share with us. And I'm going to ask My good friend Locke Bell Locke's on the front page again, putting somebody in prison for the rest of his life for a Ponzi scheme. And Locke didn't tell us, but he was the first one that gave the guy money, but he got his money back before he sent it back.
Okay, I'm gonna give the dollar that I made off that Ponzi.
There you go, there you go. That was interesting. Okay, all right, and I know we've got a program we need to get to, so is there any other business that needs to come before the club? All right, thank you.
I do want to say a special thanks to Susan Lyle and James Smith for bringing this throne down Main Street. There is a video, I hope I can put that up on the screen next week, but it was hilarious, and that was a great effort, and thank you. It was fitting for the occasion. And also, we're sorry, but Laurel made the sash for Jimmy Lee. I want to thank her for her contributions also. This Sunday, 1 p.m., the tree planting celebrating the Rotary anniversary, the one that was postponed, will take place in Charlotte. Details are on the district website. There will be a brief PR committee meeting up here right after today's meeting. Cindy Moose.
Just briefly, also, everyone knows that ticket sales are underway for our April 14th Light Up Literacy Lampshade Art Raffle and Auction. Rotarians, we intend to shake you down between now and then. Not only do we want you to buy a ticket, we want you to buy a ticket for your spouse, we want you to mail tickets to your friends and family. We're going to have a great time, and it is for a great cause. We'll be selling tickets after the meeting today and after every meeting between now and then, but we also need ticket captains, more ticket captains. So if you are willing and interested to sell, please see me after the meeting. Thanks.
Thanks, Cindy. Joyce Holfeld has an announcement.
Yesterday, a couple of us attended the ceremony of the night of nights. And our Rotary Club is a sponsor of the Greer School. And it was quite an interesting event, and I think we all had fun. I also want to say that this group of kids at the Greer School, who are basically our ambassadors in Greer School, are just finished raising $4,500
for Polio Plus. Our combination and Greer's combination plus the Gates match ended up with about $4,500, and we figured out yesterday that's 2,700 children vaccinated against polio.
And they have now started a new campaign, a fundraiser campaign for Leukemia and the Lymphoma Society. And these kids are just amazing how they have turned very social-minded in their efforts. So I'll be glad to take the money to them if you have anything you'd like to do.
Great. Charlie Penniger, would you introduce our program?
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Jeff Sanford. Jeff is the new Gaston Regional Chamber CEO and President. After John Kimbrell left to go to the Greenville, South Carolina Chamber a little over a year ago, Allison Cookson stepped in an interim role. Not long after that, the board was charged with trying to find a CEO, so we did a search, and we talked to a lot of qualified people, but Jeff rose to the top. A couple of other people that are on this board, the board of directors of the chamber that are members of our club, Deborah Ollie is on that board, so is Brent Messer, and I think Robert Brown just rolled off of it. Robert's been on there for a long time from Cherryville. So tell you a little bit about Jeff. Jeff is a high energy guy. He comes to us from Texarkana, Arkansas, the only dual city and dual state chamber of commerce in America. That must be fun to manage. And this community, and he comes to this community and is organizing. Excuse me. Let me start over. In his 8+ years in Texarkana, his organization experienced dramatic growth, and his careful restructuring of programs and services contributed to one of the best financial and member growth periods in the Chamber's 110-year history. The Texarkana U.S. Chamber of Commerce was nominated for the National Chamber of the Year in 2008 and finished as one of the top 10 chambers in the nation in member retention, eclipsing 93%. the other ones. He served on the Texas Association of Board of Business Directors, currently holds a faculty position on the U.S. Chambers Institute for Organized Management after serving on their Board of Regents. He's consulted with more than 60 chambers and associations and agencies in areas of leadership, business recruitment, retention, and organizational development. He also is an Aggie from Texas A&M. And they won 20 during the big tournament, okay. And he also is a graduate of the 4-day weekend Improvisational Comedy College and has written and acted in 8 short films as part of a Dallas-based production company. He's a member of the inaugural class of Leadership Arkansas, 2006-2007. Saved the best for life, best for last. He brought with him his wonderful wife Sonia and his 3 children, Austin, Reagan, and Carson. Jeff Sanford, our new Chamber CEO and President.
After that, since Charlie bored you to death, we're going to have a little helping hand here. I need 2 volunteers. 2 volunteers. Quickly. Okay, I'm going to point then. That little buddy. There's one. And there's one. Now, here's the deal. If it gets a little dull in here, you already use those to get the typing going, okay? Got it? Practice. All right, Charlie, I need your camera real quick. All right, one of the things, guys, I'm a Rotarian. He didn't say that. I was president of our Rotary Club in Texarkana, USA, and we all know that it's service above self, correct? Yes. So we're going to take a service above self feed. So everybody stand up. Stand up. Come on now. Charlie, you got to help me here. All right, let's see. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, somebody ready? Good. There we go. Congratulations. All right. Yeah, I didn't hear those clapping. All right. Howdy. How's everybody? Are we good?
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for letting me have a little time here. I always am a little scared to talk this early in my term. I've only been here about 90 days or so, and it's starting to get to that point when usually my speeches, my presentations, at some point they're full of a lot of meaty stuff. We're kind of in that still a little bit of potatoes with the meat kind of side here, so you're going to get more fluff than you're going to get real life stuff, but I appreciate you allowing me that opportunity. How many of you guys like movies? And how many like reading books and then going to see the movie? What's one of those that's out right now? What's that?
Unbroken.
Yeah, Unbroken. What's another one? Good, Gone Girl. Okay, that's a good one.
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey. Well, I thought that was about something entirely different. Let's see if we can get that. I thought I was a little surprised by that one. I will tell you that is completely, in case you haven't seen it, it's not that. So you might want to stay away. Now, I always start these things off, since you guys don't know me very well, one of the things, and this is going to be slow, so you're going to bear with me. I always like to bring my kids with me, and I'm going to keep pushing this up. I also, as I do this, they start to grow a little bit. That's Carson. You'll see, Carson is 9. He's a 4th grader. He's actually here in town, which is good. He's there with his oldest brother many years ago, who loves baseball and also has kind of gotten into fishing and hunting and other things. He's now a golfer, which I'll show you momentarily. That's my little girl, Reagan. She's a freshman. She's actually here with us, not in this room. She's on spring break, so she's here for a couple of days. She'll be going back, though, because as it turns out, she started her soccer season before we moved here. And the cool thing is, she is currently the all-time leading single-season scorer for her high school. Occurred last Friday, and I got to see it in person when I was down there, so that was pretty cool. This is her growing up a little bit. A couple more pictures of the family. This is my son golfing. He's about a 3 handicap, and I have 3 handicaps as well with my golf. There's him growing up a little bit, so you can see a little bit more with my family. So the only thing I didn't do, because I thought I'd be able to do it today, is you won't see any pictures of my wife. My wife, hopefully, well, we thought she'd be able to be here with us today. I invited her, and then she had some other things come up, you know, the mom things or whatever. So she's not here with us. But if you see her, well, you won't recognize her. But if you see her and get to know her, you'll recognize why I made a much better choice with her than just about anything else I've ever done. How many people have heard of? Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Let's move on. A little bit more about me that you didn't hear in the 45-minute dissertation from Charlie. I got my start in sports. I went to school to do whatever was going to happen. I thought I was going to be the next big sports thing, like many of you in this room, because I've talked to you. As it turns out, like many of you in this room, I did not do very well. And so I went into, like most of us, into coaching, and coached a lot of different things, mostly volunteer coaching, but in my time of doing, I've coached 27 seasons of baseball, 12 seasons of soccer, I've coached football, swimming, diving, and ended up having my own company and doing a lot of those things, and also was a gymnastics coach of all things. So immediately afterwards, if we have time, I would like to do some, I would like to spot some of you in some groups, if that's okay. Any volunteers? Okay, won't take us this long. In all, I coached about 10,000 kids over that time period, and some of that was while actually being in the world of chamber stuff. Now, most of us get in chamber work by accident. I got in by accident as well. I was at 19, started my own business, and was running that for a little while, and had the opportunity to get I was demanded that I got appointed to a board, like many of you. How many of you guys have served on a board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce? Any chamber? Several of you. And I have several board members in this room, and I appreciate you guys being here as well. I was in that same boat. Got appointed to one. Next year got elected to serve, and 8 years later I was still serving on the board. When my wife finished her doctorate at A&M, we figured that we were going to, I've been teaching and coaching and doing things for a number of years. I needed to probably get something a little bit more stable, even though the business was great. I told my wife, we'll move if I can sell my business. 6 days later, the business was sold. And so now we had to go off and move. And so we started some things. I thought, well, I was either going to go into television, because I also had a TV show for about 6 years, or I was going to go into chamber work, because in my service to the Chamber of Commerce Board, I chaired about 10 or 12 committees and really enjoyed that. And so I had interviews at all of those places, and the first one to call was the Chamber of Commerce. This was in Wichita Falls, Texas. They called and said, hey, we'd like you to be our, not just work here, but be our Vice President of Community Development. And so I got to do that for a few years, worked with some great people. Moved off after that to start my career as a CEO, and 3 chambers later, here I am. And I'm excited to be here with all of you. It's a really great place. I can't tell you how incredibly honored I am to be with some of the board members I've mentioned. I've also mentioned we've had staff members that have been there. Shale right here, as you know, is one of mine. We get the opportunity. Oh, first of all, in Texas, some of you asked if I brought my horse today. I didn't. I brought my Kawasaki. That's it. Oh, by the way, there's some other things different. If you want to know, when we say we're on the Texas-Arkansas border, this is considered innovation. I have to study it for a moment. Those of you in front can explain to the ones in the back what just happened. And then this is also a way that we developed some innovation and some innovative processes. This is actually Charlie. Okay. Back to staff. I work in a place that has all women. How many of you men work with all women? How many of you know that you're not in charge? There you go. No, these guys do a great job. They're making a transition. As you know, we've had a transition from the time Allison was there to the time I was there, and all before, during, and after. And so we've got a lot of things going on, and so we're sort of in that process of evaluating every program, every service, everything we do, and it's a little bit tricky to do so, but they're doing a great, great job. Well, let me tell you why I got to Gaston County, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the vision side of it. Last year, I did something that I was very fortunate to do. It was a lesson I learned from my dad. When my dad, back in 1977, my dad had a business for years and years and years. In 1977, my dad decided that after working several deals, and he was in the investment, building, development type field and industry, and he decided that one day he was no longer going to miss any more of his kids' practices, games, or anything else which he had been doing, working all day and all night, like many of us do. So he decided to do one more deal and sold everything, well, sold a lot of things, and bought a motorhome. And in the summer of 1977, we took a motorhome trip from Texas, from Austin, Texas, to Florida, up to Maine, and wiggled back, covered 30 states in a 3-month period. We had more fun and more memories made during that time than at any other time in our life, perhaps, at least certainly in one period. And so we spent that time together developing what is so important, and that is family. No matter what job you have, no matter what anything else you have, the one thing you cannot screw up on is raising a family. And my dad taught me that lesson that didn't really hit me until last year. By summer, I was in the same boat. We were doing great things. Chamber was going great. We were funded for the next year. We had several $1 million in the bank. Everything was going great. And I was hitting a wall. Emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, everything. And so I spent a little time trying to decide what my next step was going to be. I'd had some kind of exploratory team put together. They wanted me to run for Congress. There was a lot of other things going on that were just pulling me in a lot of different directions. I had a radio show that was going fun, and everything was fun. I enjoyed every bit of it, but I was burned out. So I decided after 3 months earlier, signing a 3-year contract, that I was going to renege on my contract. We came to an agreement, it was all great. I was just going to work as a consultant from then forward, and I had to go invest in my family again. That's why I show my kids and my wife all the time, because they're very important to me. And so I've spent a lot of time figuring out how can we make a new life together and do it together. And so we spent a lot of time, well, first of all, we spent 120 days doing absolutely nothing. That was our goal. We're not going to do a thing. We're not going to listen to anybody. We're not going to talk to anybody. We're just going to go on dates. Did you know that what a date is? It's kind of this cool thing where like a man and a woman, or usually, kind of get together and they go out and do something together. We got to do that for the first time in a long, long time. Got to go to all of our kids' events. Got to do all kinds of things with our kiddos and enjoy their company and figure out how they were going to be a part of our life. We're going to be a part of their life from then on. On day 121, I had about 6 offers on my desk for things to do. And we weren't ready yet. We just didn't know how we were going to come across. But there was one that kept kind of coming up to the top. And it was in Gaston County, North Carolina. We kept looking at it. We kept trying to find reasons not to pursue it. But my wife and I had always thought that we wanted to be in the Carolinas. Didn't know why, never had a reason to. So it kept kind of pulling back over into our list. And then we got a call or 2 or 3, and then we started talking. And we went through this process, and one thing that your search committee did here, and your volunteers did, is they spent a lot of time vetting the candidates in the process, which were very impressive to me. You know, get the position or not, it was interesting to talk to them over a course of 3 or 4 months, really, and find out all about this community, and find out about you guys, and find out about the kind of people that make up this area. And again, we kept trying to find reasons for it not to work and pushing it away. And every time we kept finding reasons to pull that thing back in. And I was very honored last fall whenever I got the call that said, we would like you to come in and be our CEO for the Chamber of Commerce. And I can't tell you how honored I am, because now I am re-energized, I am excited, but I'm more so excited because we get to work together on a lot of different things. And I thought about this morning, I was getting dressed, my wife, hey listen, I wear the pants in my family, she tells me which ones to put on, let's be honest about it. So I'm putting on a suit, and I'm thinking about different things, she says, you never wear a light colored suit whenever you speak. And I got to think, you're right. And you never wear a light-colored tie. You kind of look a little weak right now. Thanks, wife. But it is true. So I got to thinking, but you know what? This isn't about me. Today's speech or today's presentation is never about me or about any one person. It's about collectively how we can do things, and collectively how we can make this a better place to be. So we're pretty excited about it. We're pretty excited about being here. My wife, I have, as I said, 2 kids and 2 dogs and a wife here now. It's taken several steps in the process to get us here. My daughter, who's here this week, will come back sometime in mid-April. So I got to thinking a little bit about, this is how I felt, by the way. That's how I felt about the time whenever I took off last summer. I thought about some things. My first board meeting wasn't until January. And as I got to meeting with the board, and again, great volunteer leadership, great representation of the business community, from small businesses to large businesses to nonprofits to just about everything in between. And I asked them one important question. I said, if you could name one or put one word on the board that described what we can do as an organization that fits this community, that fits the future of our goals and of our actions, I guess, was it. What would it be? And that could be more than one word. But they went up to the board at the end of the time, and they put up a number of wonderful words that you would expect. And I got to putting them together, and I thought this sounds very, very familiar to something that's very, very successful, and something I started in my last place that I wanted to kind of put all together. I don't know that we'll use this word, but I'm really big on acronyms and things that you can kind of put together so you can remember them a little easier. And maybe at the end you'll be able to remember some of these. So as I look at each of these, the first one, for example, was leadership. The L in launch was leadership. And in leadership, I thought about that in a lot of different areas. There's leadership in the traditional sense of things that you can associate with the chamber, such as leadership Gaston and some of these other types of things. But I think it's more than that. I think it's leading this community in ways, particularly the business community, in ways that get us all thinking about things that move us forward, that move us into an era of greatness and prosperity. And I think if each of us kind of keeps that in mind And if it's an organization, and it doesn't have to be the chamber, it can be anybody, but if we keep that in mind, we can continue to move in a direction that is exciting. A little bit earlier, I was going to tell you all the things that I did in my first 90 days. For example, just a while ago, got back from the lease signing from the county and the Caramont. And I was going to take a little credit for that. Then I look out here, there's several of you that actually did have something to do with it, and I appreciate that. But how cool is that? A 40-year lease that's signed, a disagreement has gone away, and we are moving forward with an agreement between the Caramont Health System and the County Commission. Is that not great? Is that great? Where's some of those comments? We have to celebrate. We have to find ways to celebrate even the smallest of things. You know, you think about the GGDC, the Greater Gaston Development Corporation, all the things that they put forward just a few months ago. And we think about those, some we agree with, some we may not agree with, some are big, some are little. It doesn't matter. It was designed because a lot of people got in a room and said, these are some ways that we can get better. And sure enough, we're starting to check off little boxes at a time. And that's great news. And each and every one of us has a responsibility to celebrate those things because it makes us that much better. So when I go back to Texas or Arkansas, or you go to your places wherever you are around the world, you can really have things that you can talk about that is so great about Gaston County. And it's easy for me. I've got eyes wide open. You know, this is why they make your windshield so much bigger than your rearview mirror. Have you thought about that? It's because everything looking forward is more important than everything behind you. Now we use that and we move it forward a little bit. Now, I say that. It is important who you follow. Hitler was a leader. Mussolini was a leader. I mean, a lot of these people were leaders, weren't there? We can name a whole bunch of other ones that maybe weren't to that extent, but weren't very good. But all leadership is bringing people together and going in and well, there's more than that, but going forward in a common goal to get things done. Sometimes those things are ill-advised. So together we're going to need to figure out exactly what it is that we need to move forward on and do it together. Okay? Y'all with me on that one? Next one is advocacy. You know, no one else really does advocacy. Everybody's doing things on behalf of others, but in terms of advocacy for the business community, that really falls on the Chamber of Commerce. And I think that this is a very important piece right now. You know, we're all in legislative sessions, we're doing things, many of you travel to Raleigh or elsewhere, perhaps to DC, and you're doing things on behalf of the organizations you serve. We need to continue to do that, and we need to think about the kinds of things that are important for businesses. For example, if you look at these two factoids, 4,000 new new rules, mandates, regulations each and every year on businesses. We've got to do something about that. Now, we won't be able to get rid of all 4,000. What if we knocked off a couple that maybe affect you, or maybe they affect your neighbor in a way that helps them to be a little bit more prosperous, a little bit more able to help out others? It's an important piece. And of course, a piece of small businesses. Now, you can define small businesses in a lot of different ways, but in this particular case, 20 employees or smaller. If you just put in that, look at the amount of regulations that you have, or the amount of costs that you have over bigger businesses. And big businesses are not exempt either. We've got to figure out together how we can start to erase some of those regulations and mandates. North Carolina is a heavily taxed state. It is a very expensive state in a lot of ways. But part of that is that we have to find revenue sources. We have to find out where we can cut and where we can add and figure out how to pay for the things that are important to us. And some things, because change is great until it happens to you, some things are not going to be very pretty because they're going to have to be cut. But that'll open up doors for other areas where we can possibly create more opportunity and make this a great state for business. And not only a great state, but Gaston County, a great place for business. So I look forward to that. The next part is the U of launch. We had leadership, we had advocacy, is unify. Unity, bringing everybody together. We don't need 5 million different voices, we need one voice, or at least as much as we can, one voice. Now I know there's a small business voice, and you can say there's a large business voice, and there's a manufacturing voice, or there's a hospitality voice. Sure, absolutely. But what if we all kind of found common ground, and use that common ground to try to, again, knock off the edges of regulations and try to find out good things for us to do for our community. I think it's something that we, as a chamber, need to concentrate on in bringing folks together. We do it pretty well in some cases, but I think we can be even better. The N in launch is networking. And it seems a little fluffy, and I talked about the fluffy side of the speech here, but it's really true. We have to think about how we can tie people together. And it really goes with the next one, networking, and then of course connections, which is the C of launch, connecting to people. I don't have to know how to be great at what you do, or what you do. I just have to be able to bring, if you guys have common needs, bring you together. I used to ask my dad that. My dad, as I said, was a builder and a developer. He would bring me to, and some of you construction guys can appreciate this, he would take me to his work site sometimes. And he would introduce me to all these great people. Now, he was the boss man. In my eyes, he was a hero. He was the big guy. And we'd go around and he'd introduce me to different people. And he would say, here's my chief plumber, and here's my mason, and here's my whatever. And I'd go back in the car with him afterwards. I'd say, Dad, why don't you just do that? Couldn't you make more money? And he said, well, sure, but why not surround yourself with the very best people? If he's the best plumber in all of Austin, Texas, he's the best brick mason in this entire region. Together, we don't just build a building, we build fortresses, we build Taj Mahals. And I thought, wow, that makes so much sense. Surround yourself with great people, connect them, and let them do the best things they can together, because greatness multiplied is really, really awesome. And that's a chamber word, by the way. The last thing is honor. You guys did a great job honoring a young man coming back from some challenges. Sometimes we forget to honor people. I really liked what you did. I was president of a Rotary Club, as I told you, and I got to tell you, you guys are really, really advanced and do a great job. I get excited coming here watching what you guys do in this room, because you are truly lighting up Rotary, but you're also lighting up the entire community. You light each other up. You lift each other up. And I know you have to pay $1 if you do something. Some of us kind of keep our head down whenever we're in the paper or whatever. But isn't it great that we're also really celebrating each other for being a part of this community? And I challenge you as Rotarians to also think about everything else that you volunteer for and everything else that you do, to put on your Rotary hat, to do a service above selfie, and brag about the things that Rotarians are doing that are making a difference in our community, where you're lifting other people up. You do a great job of lifting each other up in this room, but let's continue to do it outside of this room. We're 102 years old, I believe, at the chamber. 102 years old. That's a lot. I've been here 90 days or so. There's a lot of greatness that happened at the Chamber of Commerce before I ever even was thought of, much less before I even came here to this county. And to some extent, the same for you guys. But we can't forget what got us here. If someone asked me if I ever had any regrets, I think it might have even been part of the interview process, if there's anything that I would do over again, any regret that I would have. And I said, no, absolutely not. I mean, on the surface, yeah, I might do something over again, but I don't know that I would have any regret about it, because everything that I've done in my life led me to this moment today in front of you, in front of the Rotary Club. And that's what I get excited about. Everything in your past is, again, in that rearview mirror, and it helped build you to where you are now. And it helped build us to where we can go forward. Whenever we talked about the deal with the county earlier, with the county and the hospital, you know, there was a lot of crappy crap that went on, wasn't there? You guys know all about it. I don't really even know about it. All I know is today we got to witness something pretty historic and pretty exciting. Again, the windshield is out in front of you. It's bigger than anything else. So together, let's look through that windshield and see where else we can go. Here's something else we found out at our board meeting. Okay, so much for that one. That one. Listen. My never show. Good, got that one. I feel better. Okay, you know, one of the things I talk about is loving on people. It sounds a little silly right on the surface, but I like to think about things about how we can love on people. You know, how we build each other up. Think about something for me. How many of you guys go out to dinner with some friends, or you have people over and you have a little dinner party or some kind of get together? What are some of the things you do with them? With some of your friends?
Tell stories.
Tell stories. Very good. What else? Laugh. Laugh. Exactly right. What else?
Drink.
I don't know what you're talking about. You know, you're right. A little drinking, a little laughing, a little having fun, a little food, a little whatever, right? We have a good time, don't we? Why is it we turn that off when we enter a boardroom or enter a business? We got to think about having fun all the time. We got to love on each other. We got to do the same kinds of things that the investment that you have in your friends, with the people that you work with, and the people that you deal with, board members or whoever else that you're around. You got to love on them a little bit and have some fun with them. Because I think the more fun we have, and the lighter some things are, don't get me wrong, the issues are serious, but I think we have a chance to really enjoy being around each other, and we enjoy then moving forward on the kinds of things. Be a part of the solution, don't be apart from the solution. Okay? Let's think about that from here forward. Getting close here. You know, when you think about different people, it's sort of like with the issue with the hospital or anything else. You know, you get all these bad things and bad vibes about folks. But what about the good things? You know, weren't those the best tunnels ever? I thought that was awesome. I used to try to draw those tunnels. Anybody ever do that? I used to draw those tunnels on a wall and thing. And then, of course, I also ran into it, which I thought was stupid. But it was really cool. He had some great skills, man. And if he would have just left that TNT company, you know, everything was TNT or Acme, excuse me, Acme, that's what it was, it's Acme. Everything was Acme. He should have left that company a long time ago. But he had some real skills, didn't he? He's never going to win. But he had some other things he can win at. That's like us. What are some things that we can win at? What are our victories that are out there? Where can we check off those boxes and say that, yes, we've indeed won something? However small it is, however large it is, we've won. We talked about, Charlie and I were talking a little bit earlier about everybody in economic development, for example, loves the big, oh, we're going to get 500 employees off of this new recruited business, or 1,000 or whatever. But let's take that 500, and what if we helped 500 existing businesses add just one more person? How cool would that be? Same result, but now our businesses have just grown a little bit. Economic gardening, we're nurturing those businesses that are around us. I'm not saying the other's not important, please don't get me wrong, but we also need to invest in those that are around us. Well, I'm about at the end of my deal here. Again, I wanted to, you all have heard about, cave people? What's cave people? What are cave people? Anybody know what cave people, have you ever heard that?
Citizens against virtually everything.
That's exactly right, Tony. Citizens against virtually everything. Ever come across any of those? All right. What about NIMBYs? How about bananas? Build absolutely nothing anywhere near any place. There are a lot of other acronyms you can go with, but these things are so true. We run into a lot of naysayers. We've got to love on them. We've got to turn them to our side, because I think together, people like you in Rotary, like me in Rotary, like all of us, we can change this world one little thing at a time, and we can do it in a great way. People ask about my vision for Gaston County. I didn't get into a lot of it here, but what I did get into is this, that together, if we work hard, if this organization does what you need us to do, and if we can support you, lead you where you need to lead, but also support you in the leadership opportunities that you have, I think together Gaston County is going to be the greatest county in America. So that's my goal for now. But thank you anyway. Appreciate it. Any questions? Anybody? Wow.
Okay.
Give me another 90 days, if you will, huh? Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jeff. We're looking forward to a fresh new direction for Gaston County and looking for great things. It's a wonderful place. That's why we're all here. Thank you to our visitors and guests. Please come back anytime. You are very welcome. Harry, love having you back. So your subjects can come adore you afterwards. That would be great. If we will stand, we'll be adjourned with the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?